All right, so we're moving on to the final topic. So, I will be sharing my top 5 scariest quarterbacks heading into next season. Now, mind it, the words I just said, this is scariest quarterbacks to face heading into next season. This is not my top 5 quarterback list heading into next season, but this is the top 5 scariest opponents, guys that you won't want to see cross. If you're on the defensive side, these are the guys that you don't want to sit across at the other side of the line of scrimmage playing against on a weekly basis. These are my top 5 scariest quarterbacks heading into next season. At 5, I have the GOAT. I have Thomas Edward Patrick Brady at number 5 for me. This is the greatest guy to ever put on a pair of football pads. He is the all-time GOAT. 7 NFL Super Bowls that he has won, more Super Bowl wins than any other franchise in NFL history. I'm talking more Super Bowls than the New England Patriots, which he helped them get 6. I'm talking more NFL Super Bowls than the Pittsburgh Steelers, which they have 6. I'm talking more Super Bowls than the San Francisco 49ers, who have 5. I'm talking more Super Bowls than the Dallas Cowboys, who have 5. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady has more Super Bowls than any other franchise in NFL history. He is the true GOAT, and he is the greatest player to ever put on a pair of pads. Age does not matter. This man is going to be 45 years of age playing in the NFL for another season once week 1 hits. When he hits AT&T Stadium and plays in Jerry World against the Dallas Cowboys, this man will be 45 years old. And this could be his final season. I am so grateful, and everybody watching and listening better be grateful that Tom Brady is coming back for at least one more season. I think this is going to be his last hurrah this season due to the fact that he has a monster contract waiting for him when he decides to hang up his cleats. But I think after this season, he's going to the booth because this Fox has offered him a 10-year, $375 million deal being a play-by-play color commentator for Fox. So, if you're Tom Brady, you made all this money playing, and then you have $375 million waiting for you in the next 10 years to be a color commentator, play-by-play commentator. I've done everything I could in this sport. I proved I'm arguably the greatest athlete of all time. I'm hitting it. But I think Tom Brady's going to be a scary man to face next season, heading into this season, especially after the news broke yesterday evening that they got Julio Jones. Julio Jones. Now, Julio is not in his... I don't think Julio's in his prime anymore. I think Julio is obviously going to be on a slight decline, but this is Julio Jones we're talking about. A generational talent, one of the best wide receivers that we have seen in this generation. So, on paper, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense looks pretty good. I think they're going to have the best receiving core heading into this year. They have Chris Godwin, who's going to be coming back from a torn ACL, who's going to be set. I think who's going to be set to play come week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. So you're going to have Chris Godwin. You're going to have Mike Evans, who is an absolute beast, and then you have Julio Jones into this offense, as who's going to be the number 3 wide receiver. And then and obviously Gronk has retired, but I think he'll be back in November, come December, for a late playoff run. But they added Kyle Rudolph at the tight end position. If they got all these guys playing, and they still have Russell Gage that they could use at times for this offense. So, I like what I see on paper. And if Leonard Fournette can cut at least 40 pounds by week 1, who is coming into camp at 260 pounds, which is ridiculous for a running back. But if he could get into shape, this offense is going to be bread and butter. I can't see a lot of teams in the NFC stopping this offense. So if the game isn't over, he will give you a chance to win. He has, in Tom Brady's career, he has 42 fourth-quarter comebacks, 53 game-winning drives. You can never count this man out. I don't care if he plays football until he's 50. He is still going to be on my top 5 scariest quarterbacks to play against. At number 4, I have Lamar Jackson. Now, yes, I have been on this podcast. I have said my stuff. I have said my dirt about Lamar Jackson, but he is one hell of a quarterback. He is one hell of a playmaker. He is one hell of an athlete, and I think he's going to be the 4th scariest quarterback to play against heading into next season. He can beat you with his arm. He proved a lot of people wrong last year with his arm. His arm actually helped the Ravens when they trailed big in a lot of games that they won last season. So his arm, especially, you could go back and look at the tape at that game where they played the Indianapolis Colts. His arm won him the game, and he had his best game up to in his career so far. Check that game out if you guys don't remember that game or need a flashback to how great Lamar Jackson's arm is. that game will tell you everything you need to know about his arm. His legs, we know Lamar Jackson, that's his bread and butter. That's what makes him electric on that football field. It's his playmaking style, especially with his legs. Especially after breaking Mike Vick's rushing stats the year he won that unanimous MVP award. And Lamar Jackson, a proven winner. Is a proven winner, believe it or not. Say what you want about him. I've said what I've said about him. He does have some things to improve, but he's a proven winner, 41-17 as a starter in this league, counting the playoffs as well. So I think Lamar Jackson will be on a revenge tour this year. After leaving the season unexpectedly due to that injury he received late in the season against the Cleveland Browns, I think he's going to be on a revenge tour, and this is also his contract year. So he's seeing his mates. He's seeing Deshaun Watson get $230 million guaranteed in his contract, who has not played football in an entire 365 days. We have his other mate now, and Kyle Murray, who just got a huge monster deal with the Arizona Cardinals, got $160 million guaranteed in his contract, who is slated to do study hall at things in his contract. He's slated to do independent studies, but he still receives $160 million guaranteed. Both of these deals are a slap to the face if you are Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson is going to prove that he's worth his money this year. And I think he's going to go on a revenge tour this year as his early dark horse pick for me to win MVP this year. At number 3, we have Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals QB1. Icy Burrow, if you want to call him. His sophomore season might be one of the best sophomore seasons that we have seen in NFL history at the quarterback position. Tore his ACL in his rookie season, unfortunately, against the Washington Commanders, that I can call them now, but at the time they were called the Washington Football Team. Tore his ACL his rookie season, came back and took his team to the freaking Super Bowl. How many people have done that in their rookie, for coming back from an unfortunate rookie season and do that in the sophomore season? Oh wait, nobody's done that. So what he did last year, I think that was the best sophomore season I've seen at the quarterback position. It's debatable, but in my opinion, I think that's what makes Joe Burrow special, what he did. And he got to the Super Bowl with a banged up offensive line. Talk about what you want, what he has. He has a decent defense. He has all the weapons on offense, but you can't do anything in this league when you're the one sitting back, dropping back in the pocket, trying to make throws when throws matter the most. He did this with a bad offensive line. Now, if you're a quarterback, you have a good offensive line. You have at least your window is 3 to 6 seconds to throw. I'm not talking about getting blitzed. I'm just talking about if your offensive line is good. But Joe Burrow, half the time he only had 2 to 3 seconds to drop back and make a pretty throw, pretty dime, and help this team thrive when it mattered most. This man got sacked 9 times in an NFL playoff game to the number 1 seeded Tennessee Titans and played that game in Nashville. It still found a way to win. Joe Burrow is spectacular. He is one heck of a quarterback, and is going to be the face of the NFL for one of the faces of the NFL for quite some time. So this offseason, he's built more chemistry with head coach Zach Taylor. He's built more chemistry with his offensive players and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and his boy, who's been his boy since college, and Jamar Chase. I think they got they got somebody at the tight end. Oh, Hayden Hurst at the tight end position. Obviously not as good as what he once was with the Baltimore Ravens, but that is a solid tight end position, tight end to play at the tight end position. And then you have Joe Mixon, who can get it done running and receiving. So I like what the Bengals are heading into next season, and I don't think anybody wants a piece of Icy Burrow heading into next season. At 2, we got the baby goat. I said it, baby goat, Patrick Mahomes, coming in at number 2. Now, a lot of you guys watching and listening might question why I put Patrick Mahomes at number 2 on my scariest list. You can't count out Patrick Mahomes. What he has done so far in his NFL career, I would say he's a top 5 quarterback of all time in this league. We will have that conversation one day on this podcast of who the top 5 quarterbacks are of all time. But you can't count out the duo of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, who have already been to 2 Super Bowls with each other. Obviously won the first time when they beat the San Francisco 49ers a few years ago, but then lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a year ago in the Super Bowl. You can't count out this quarterback head coaching duo in Kansas City, even though they lost their number 1 wide receiver in Tyreek Hill. You lost a top 5 wide receiver in Tyreek Hill. It's a big blow. But I think this team will be good on offense regardless of that. They got Juju Smith, they got Marquise Scantling, they got Mecole Hardman, and obviously they got that beast, that I think the best tight end in the league, in Travis Kelce. So these weapons and Sky Moore, who they drafted in the NFL draft. We'll see how they use him in this Kansas City offense. So the weapons I said, but minus Travis Kelce, don't really make you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to have an MVP year, but he's not going to fall off at all. I think his cannon arm, along with his playmaking abilities, will make him scary, and I think he will gel with these guys, with these receivers as time goes on in the NFL season. If they start off slow, they did the same thing last year, so hold your breath. I think Patrick Mahomes would be just fine. And as the season goes on, they got a pretty rough start the first 6 to 7 weeks in the league. Once time goes on, I think Patrick Mahomes, a lot of defensive coordinators are going to lose a lot of sleep over playing against this Kansas City offense and playing against Patrick Mahomes. And I think that's what makes Patrick Mahomes the second most feared quarterback heading into next season. And number one, Josh Allen is the scariest quarterback heading into next season. He could beat you with his arm. He could beat you with his leg. Currently, the odds-on favorite to win MVP, and the Bills are the odds-on favorite to make it to play in the Super Bowl next year and win the damn thing. So I like what I'm seeing from what the Bills are going to look like. I like what they are going to. I like what they look like on paper. I think Josh Allen is set for a revenge tour, getting his heart broken last year, and I can't even put into words. If I was a Bills fan, my heart would still be broken. I'd still be recovering from a broken heart right now. But I think he'll be the most feared quarterback against lining up against opposing defenses this year. Nobody wants any piece of Josh Allen. I think he is the odds. I'm not going to say it, but if the season were to start tomorrow, I would say this man is going to win MVP. Nobody wants to see Josh Allen, and he's going to have one heck of a year. I think he could end the dry spell that the Bills Mafia has been experiencing over the last 25, 26 years. But there's a guy, if you guys were paying attention to my list, that I left out, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, if I even had a first man out, a sixth man in this scary list, Aaron Rodgers would not even be at 6. Aaron Rodgers is not a scary guy to me at this particular time. He is coming back off of back-to-back MVP awards, off of the last 2 seasons, but he doesn't have a true number 1 wide receiver. Devontae Adams is gone. You're talking about Allen Lazard is going to be his number 1 wide receiver. That doesn't really make me lose sleep if I'm a defensive coordinator. I think they have a better chance of beating me running the ball rather than passing the ball, because what are you going to do with Allen Lazard as your number 1 wide receiver? You can't do much. And we're going to see if Aaron Rodgers can really prove if he can do things that Tom Brady did for his last few years with the New England Patriots, not having a true number 1 wide receiver, but still doing his damn thing. We're going to see what Aaron Rodgers can truly do. And it's going to be interesting to me what these 5 quarterbacks that I said on this list are going to do heading into next season. So at 5, again, I had Tom Brady. At 4, I had Lamar Jackson. At 3, I had Joe Burrow. At 2, I had Patrick Mahomes. And at 1, I had Josh Allen. So that is my top 5 scariest quarterbacks heading into next season. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.